The best of the week on Relevant Radio.
Since, as you know, I am Colombian, of Colombian heritage, I personally enjoy it so much. There is nothing like a piping hot cup of Java first thing in the morning, which for me is at about 4 a.m. Central. You may have heard of our Guadalupe Gold coffee, the official coffee of Relevant Radio, which is now available on the Relevant Radio store at relevantradio.com. In fact, last year we offered this coffee as a thank you gift. It was so popular that our phones were literally ringing off the hook with requests for more of that Relevant Radio coffee. Do you want to know where this coffee comes from?
Of course.
Okay, well, here we go. Here's a part of a very moving video from Guadalupe Roastery, coffee for the common good.
In our world, we do not have a relationship with the people that produce what we consume. The workers who get up at 2 in the morning to pick coffee cherries, to provide for their families. Guadalupe Roastery wants to tell that story and make those people seen. We believe in solidarity with the people that make our coffee, solidarity with people in need, and solidarity with our customers. We believe in decisions made at the most local level. Our dream is that coffee can be a force for good. But it's about more than coffee. It's about making a difference.
Wow, I can almost feel that coffee pouring. Joining us live this morning is Brad Fassbender himself, the founder of Guadalupe Roastery, to share his story and to tell us how you too can help Relevant Radio and coffee farmers in Nicaragua. Good morning, Brad. Welcome back to Morning Air. It's great to be with you once again.
Good to be with you, John, too.
So how exciting is it, Brad, to actually see the Relevant Radio store up and running with Guadalupe Gold right on the front page?
Well, there's a children's book in our house. It's called The Miracle of St. Nicholas, and there's a line in there that says, you know, miracles happen when God enters into our dreams, and that's what it feels like. It's a true miracle.
Well, congratulations, my friend, because I know the Lord has been with you for a long time. Let's talk a little bit about this Guadalupe Gold coffee itself. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the several delicious roasts that are actually available as we speak on the Relevant Radio store?
Yeah, so there's a couple different varieties of coffee. We have what we call the Tepeyac Edition. And this just marks the origin of the Relevant Radio store and the partnership with Guadalupe Roastery. And it's inspired by the apparition site of Tepeyac, where Our Lady of Guadalupe appeared to St. Juan Diego. And this coffee honors the mission of evangelization. And then we have a Three Kings edition. So when this coffee was being sourced, it was really interesting. This was around September of this year that they roasted a batch of this coffee, and there's professional coffee tasters that score this coffee and taste like the little flavor notes in it. And one of the flavor notes that was brought out in this coffee was the essence of myrrh. So we thought it would be a great name to call this the Three Kings Edition.
I love it. I love how you bring in the faith in these biblical names, you know, beginning with just the name of your coffee in general to honor Our Lady of Guadalupe.
She's our namesake, and she's the driving force of the evangelization behind this product.
And of course, you have a number of other types of coffee in addition to the Tepeyac and the Three Kings.
Yeah, so I'll equate like coffee. Like coffee, one cup of coffee is not equal to the next cup of coffee from a different source, from a different farm. When you visited one coffee farm, you just visited one coffee farm, and each one takes on its own, family traditions, really, because that's where we're sourcing these coffee beans from. Is we have 56 different family farms that each like bring their own like identity and recipes and processes to the coffee. So some of the other coffee offerings that we have, one is called the single estate natural process. So this is processed a little bit different from the coffee bush. So when the coffee's picked, it's a cherry. And the natural process is they take these cherries and they sun dry them for 3 to 6 weeks. And that process will bring out just different tasting notes than some of the other like traditional, more like big coffee processes. So our single estate natural coffee has tasting notes that are just bold, fruity, and a natural sweetness to it.
Tell us the rest of the story. We heard a little clip there at the beginning of how it all began and the inspiration for you to literally leave the world of business and become a missionary in Central America.
Yeah. Shortly after college, I had a financial services job, and I was feeling just empty in it. And I didn't feel like a connection to like the work and the vocation of that work. So I left it all and I moved to Honduras. I was commissioned by some donors in the United States to just be on mission. And I did, I worked with a Franciscan community and we did door-to-door evangelization and inviting people back to the faith. This was in the early 2000s and everything then was like, we're re-evangelizing and we still are. So a lot of like Catholics there left the faith, so we're inviting them back. I eventually had to leave mission because the funds ran out, so I wanted to stay on mission. And one of the ways that I thought of doing is I would sell coffee in the United States, earn some money and go back on mission. So I did that for a couple of years, and I went back on mission, and God rerouted my path. I went down there to start a coffee cooperative on that side of the coffee industry at Oregon, not here like in the United States. But on the day of my arrival, God made it clear that that wasn't my path. I was driving to a coffee community, and I had a little Toyota Corolla, and a herd of cattle ran down the mountainside in front of my car, and I totaled it out. And that kind of didn't quite end it immediately, but it was in my zeal, I tried to stick it out as long as I could, and I started working on a coffee farm and picking the cherries with some of the farmers to earn money. And my first full day of work, I brought my cherries in to get weighed, and I got paid $2.50 for that day's work. And some of the other workers that, were more seasoned pickers, they were earning like $7 or $8 a day, but they kind of laughed at me because I couldn't pick as fast as they could. So then they moved me to, I was in my 20s and I was fairly strong. So they moved me to like the mill where I was carrying these 150-pound sacks over and over all day. And I got up to making like $7, $8 a day. So after a couple of weeks of that, it wasn't enough to pay for my total car. So I had to come back to the United States and start working to kind of repair the financial damages that trip caused me. But as one thing leads to the next, I started building business in the U.S. here and buying from those same people that I met while in Central America. So we're still working together, just in a different manner.
It's an amazing story, and obviously your trust in the Lord has been heroic. You've actually developed some pillars that have been the foundation of your coffee ministry.
Yeah, I would say of the most like important ones, like two of them is just we're coffee for the common good, and we insert beauty into our brand because we're buying these from hardworking families who they have hardship, but we're buying it directly from them. So they're earning more than they would if they were just selling it through traditional channels. So why I say beauty is we're upholding the dignity of the family unit, which is it's the foundation of society. So through this all, like, we're coming together in like the transcendental things of goodness, truth, and beauty, and letting them work through the marketplace. And while we're in these relationships of business, we are intentional about like why we're there. We're here because it's vocational for our work, and we want to give glory through our work to God.
And the quality of the coffee is really something special. There's no need to go elsewhere. There's so many other varieties of coffee out there. People think of Starbucks and many others. This is right up there. As good as it gets.
Definitely. So the quality we source from. Another really interesting thing about the coffee market is, when these families pick the beans, it goes through a huge process. So they only pick the ones that are the most mature because they have the best flavor. And then it goes through a sorting process. And when they sort these coffee beans, they sort them in 3 just like grades. So you have like your commercial grade, your commodity grade, and your specialty grade. So they're all priced, they all sell for different prices. So the Relevant Radio store offers the specialty grade beans. When you buy from the Relevant Radio store, you are getting a cup of excellence, really, and just a cup of goodness with all the faith work that is in this business.
Tell us how this all came about, this partnership with Relevant Radio and the creation of this Relevant Radio store, which is obviously showcasing the Guadalupe Gold coffee.
It's definitely the invisible hand of Our Lady of Guadalupe at work. It started, I finished a 30-day novena to St. Joseph. It's the St. Joseph's Cloak novena. And on the 30th day, I got a call from Elizabeth Salmutis that they were looking for coffee for their February 2024 pledge drive, and if I could help provide that. And that was the beginning. And then Father Rocky wanted it to be named Guadalupe Gold Coffee after the patron of Relevant Radio. She's the patron saint of Guadalupe Roastery. It's really the fruit of prayer, because where this coffee came from, the one for the pledge drive, it came from a farm that is named after St. John Paul II. And we know he dedicated his papacy to Toda Tuus Maria, to the Virgin Mary. So it's a very profound origin of coffee. And I think the story is going to keep unfolding as the weeks and months go on, because it's definitely the fruit of, I would say, Toda Tuus Maria, like Marian consecration.
Well, Brad, I got to tell you, I have a leftover bag of the Guadalupe Gold coffee, the St. John Paul II single estate farm version. It smells so good. I can smell it right through the top without it even being opened. And obviously on the backside is that beautiful, gorgeous image of Our Lady of Guadalupe from our Chapel of the Proclamation here at our Relevant Radio studios.
That's great, John. You're enjoying that, I hope.
Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding? I can't wait to get another cup right after the show.
Excellent.
There's a few other items that are available at the Relevant Radio store. I know that you can actually get a rosary, which I believe is made by some of the coffee growers.
Yeah, so there's a cooperative of workers that assist the Port Clare community there, and they make handmade rosaries there. Like, coffee's very seasonal, so when they're out of season, they're looking for like temp work. We are buying handmade rosaries from them, and they're on the Relevant Radio store.
Yeah, and don't forget that we also have the official white ceramic Relevant Radio mug, along with a travel tumbler, all kinds of good stuff on there, and first and foremost, the Guadalupe Gold coffee. Brad, really appreciate you taking the time to join us here this morning. And real quick, our listeners can go to relevantradio.com. We're right on the front page if you want to order some of the Guadalupe Gold yourself. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, John.
Brad Fassbender, the founder of Guadalupe Roastery, with us here on Morning Air. Like what you just heard? Share it with your family and friends. And thanks for listening.